I don't really know how to start shows.
Come on now, don't start liking me now.
So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later. I stand for mayhem!
I know a lot of fucking idiots that think a lot of shit is mean-spirited just because it goes against what they believe.
But the relief of comedy is it take things that aren't funny and it allows us to laugh about them for an hour.
We got a purple suit to buy and a gigantic coffin.
Why are you laughing?
Welcome, everybody, to Why Are You Laughing? A history of comedy podcast. Week by week, we take you through the history of comedy. I mean, not really the history, I guess starting in like 1960, but...
I'm glad we corrected it on the fourth go around.
I've been thinking it the whole time. I was like, it's not really my show.
But tonight, I'm pleased to introduce you to the saga of Norm MacDonald on SNL and his eventual firing. Norm's passing at this point, maybe a month ago. I don't know when you guys are hearing this, but as we record, it was just a couple weeks ago. And that was like the first celebrity death in my life that like affected my day. Like I was genuinely broken up about it. I was very sad. And part of that is the way he went out. But today is strictly about remembering the greatness of Norm MacDonald. And I think one of the best ways to salute his brilliance and his attitude and his charm, really, is by examining his time on SNL and the way it ended and the way it all played out and his eventual revenge. So, and, you know...
It's a great word.
It's come up recently that Norm didn't always love female comedians. He wasn't necessarily the politest to them.
He didn't touch him, though.
Not to my knowledge. And with that bitch. No, we'll get to that another week.
Did he whack off in front of them, though?
He's no Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, well, stop. Well, now it's got to be a bit every week, I guess. He's created this world where we have to shit on Patton Oswalt every week, even though I like the guy. I think he's funny.
I do, too.
I think he's a funny guy.
I do, too.
But actually... Patton Oswalt comes up in a Norm MacDonald joke.
Yeah, that's true.
The hypocrisy.
I figured.
A good one. A good Norm MacDonald joke.
Another episode, by the way, we'll be doing half-assed impressions of the guy we're talking about the whole time.
Yeah, jeez.
But
Wait till we do a Christopher Walken episode.
So to give both sides of the story here, I wanted to start with the fact that Norm was not beloved by all his cast members on SNL. So he started at Saturday Night Live in 1993, eventually rose to Weekend Update from 1994 to 1997, and left the cast pretty much a few months later, after the first half of the 97 season. And so while he was on the set, when he became, I guess, one of the veteran cast members and the Weekend Update guys, the younger writers looked up to him, and one of those people was Laura Kightlinger. Is that her name?
It looks like it.
It's like a dangerous name to pronounce.
Laura Kightlinger talked about her time on SNL and how Norm kind of ruined it for her. And then Norm's response is right after this, by the way.
You will.
By the way, wait, can I interrupt your old friend, Norm MacDonald? Did you guys write together on...
He's not a friend of mine.
Roseanne, right? Well, I was just using it loosely.
Now, you had a reaction just now to Norm MacDonald. Not a friend, not a fan.
You worked with him, though.
Mm-hmm. At Saturday Night Live.
Roseanne.
No, I missed him at Roseanne. Well, I came in, and he was supposed to be my guide through SNL, and it turned out that he is a shit stirrer.
He was busy pissing in a bucket in front of people.
Well, no, he loves to, pit people against each other. He used to find articles where somebody said, one thing, and then he'd stand in the doorway and laugh. Like he'd find an article where, Janine said something about Adam and, just create all this havoc. So it's funny that you said that because he's probably one of the few people I really don't like.
Yeah. Norm is someone who really sticks out.
Well,
to you.
because it was such a kind of a vulnerable time, being because it was the first time I'd ever done live TV and stuff, and he really, and for all of us, really kind of made it difficult.
And here's
I've never heard that about. Everyone loves Norm MacDonald.
I barely remember Laura from the show, except for her hit characters, obviously.
I don't even know who she
is. He is the fucking greatest.
What an animal.
There is no one that ever got over on Norm. Literally, his comebacks. There is no one that could take a shot at him and not have a comeback.
Her examples of him being horrible and all this shit are hilarious.
Yeah, so her example, as Norm goes on later to address in that episode of Stern, that this Laura Keitlinger's examples of Norm being awful was that Janine Garofalo would talk in the press about Adam Sandler and shit on Adam Sandler. And Norm, being Adam's friend and castmate, would say, hey, Adam, did you see Janine's taking a shot at you? And that's her example of him causing shit.
Was she on SNL with them?
Laura Keitlinger?
No.
Janine Garofalo? I think she was a writer.
Oh.
I think she might have been a writer.
She wasn't a one-off, like one of those, what the fuck's his name?
Well, we should spend more time on that.
Martin, fucking Christ.
Well, we're gonna make him think of it now.
Mull?
And I know who he's thinking. I know who he's thinking of. I'm not going to say it.
Martin
there we
Short.
go.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ. What is she? Martin Short? No, she's a different person.
He did like one. No, I'm saying like Martin Short, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. They did like 1 year.
I don't know how long she was there. Why do I give a shit? She was there.
Now it's a point of topic in conversation.
Janine Garofalo, emphasis on the awful.
We'll get to that in the Janine episode. We'll break down her time on SNL and her big rivalry with Adam Sandler.
There's going to be a Janine episode.
Sure, why not? At this point, it was such a great talking point in this.
Sounds fascinating.
So, there are other examples of people not loving Norm. For example, a story that Jim Breuer has told on multiple. I've heard him tell this on Stern and Opie and Anthony. This is from. I don't know if he told this on stage somewhere or something.
It looks like it. Funny bone.
Yeah, but it needs some prefacing. So. Norm he wasn't in a lot of sketches, but he was in this one that they did about the Twilight Zone. And Pamela Anderson was the host that week. And as Breuer tells it, Chris Kattan was a guy who, if you're not familiar with him, he's the guy from what's the Butabi Brothers movie? Night at the Roxbury with Will Ferrell. That's his big.
It's also an SNL sketch.
Yes.
And he's if you're living in 90s world.
Corky Romano.
Yes, there you go. If you're living in the 90s world, remember, these are not my thoughts. This is how people, bigots thought back then. Chris Kattan seemed very gay. Like very stereotypically gay. He had a high voice and was very flamboyant and things like that. Yeah. So, evidently, when a woman like Pam Anderson, who was very attractive, would host, Chris Kattan would go out of his way to show how hetero he is by hitting on them and writing sketches where like they make out or whatever, where they are intimate with each other in some way.
He would overcompensate.
Yes, yeah, it seemed like he was overcompensating. So, cut to when they are in this sketch together, and Chris Kattan is giving Norm shit because Norm in dress rehearsals and everything is like kind of half-assing this. He's playing who's Rod Serling, the host of the Twilight Zone. So he's kind of doing like Norm, like imagine if you will, a time and place. Like he's kind of just half-assing it. And Chris Kattan's giving him shit. And then that leads to where we are with Jim Breuer telling this story.
All right.
Live show, 1 minute to live on the air. Kattan starts. God, Norm, you're like terrible. We got 1 minute. You're going to sound terrible on national television. Don't you care? My God, you don't even care? Don't you feel gay? God, what's wrong with you? And I can't believe, I'm getting mad that he's trying to throw Norm off his game. He's live TV. And then, oh my God, Pamela, you going to the party? You're hot. I'm going to text you up 30 seconds. God, Norm, wait till you hear him. It's terrible. Why don't you stay at the update desk? 20 seconds. Pamela, you're so hot. 15 seconds. Norm had a cigarette. Puts it out. 10 seconds. Hey, Kattan. By the way, if everyone didn't know, Kattan's gay, but he doesn't tell anyone he's gay. And that's why he's this angry little bitch, and he just takes it out on everyone, and he tries to hit on Pamela Anderson, who you know would never be with you. She went Tammy Lee. 5 seconds. So why don't you just come out of the closet and admit you're gay and you wouldn't live a lie, you little bitch? We're on! Imagine if you will.
One of my favorite Norm stories, and when I realized I didn't tell it a couple weeks ago,
funny.
I was so glad when I remember, we could play it on the show, because it's one of my favorite fucking Norm stories. And the way he told it on Howard Stern was slightly different, where he would go, Pamela, you know he's gay, don't you? You just tell you're gay, Chris. And so then our next clip doesn't really build the case. It's not another person hating Norm, but Kattan went on Howard Stern a few years later Stern was asking him, like, why didn't you get along with Norm? Like, what the fuck? And Catan goes on to tell this story about how Norm was a dick and a prima donna and wanted to be on some Rolling Stone cover that they were on and, like, forced his way on there and shit. And Catan's kind of telling this story about how Norm's an asshole and everything. And Artie, I don't know if this is he wasn't in that day for some reason. But Artie calls in.
Oh, no shit.
To correct Chris Kattan in one of the greatest moments of loyalty in Stern history.
Also, can I say how Norm it was for him to wait till there was 5
seconds
left to say that?
See, Mike, that's the funny part.
Hey, you know he's gay, don't you?
Great.
So let's hear Artie call in and defend Chris Kattan. I'm sorry, Norm.
Fine, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, what's up, man?
Yeah, hey, Artie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, I like Chris. I think he's...
So right there, Chris Kattan realizes, his boy is calling in.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
So,
dude, go back.
I don't know if that's the telltale sign of a liar, but
that's not great.
But it's the telltale sign of a liar.
Yeah. So yeah, play that from the beginning again.
Artie Lange, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, what's up, man?
Yeah, hey, Artie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, I like Chris. I think he's funny. But what he said before about that Rolling Stone cover is wrong.
All right, go. Artie's going to defend Norm, I guess.
Norm represents. You know you might be wrong.
All right, go ahead.
No, it's just that Chris made it sound like Norm showed up begging to get on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Oh no, he wasn't begging. He was just like assuming he was on the cover with us. And
well, he was though.
I know he was.
But he wanted to stand in the middle as well.
No. They were begging Norm to do it. And he thought it seemed weird.
He didn't want to do it.
Right. He thought it seemed weird to stand in the middle of all you guys.
Oh, that's true.
They definitely wanted Norm to be on the cover because at the time, I mean, he was the funniest guy on the show. Howard, you've said that a million times.
I think Norm is hysterical.
He is. I already said that.
Yeah, and so does Chris.
So that was not that was never a big moment. I've never heard that talked about anywhere. It wasn't like a huge moment in Stern history or anything. Yeah. But I think it should be one of the great moments of someone getting called out and immediately being like, I was kind of lying. I was exaggerating a bit.
He pulled a 180 on the whole
completely. He's like, oh no, Norm's the greatest.
No, that's bad when you go,
great.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
So, Norm, when I go back and watch, easily my favorite weekend. I mean, he's one of my favorite people ever. So obviously my favorite.
Him and Colin.
Hey, he's good on SNL.
Yeah, but even like Colin, I feel like didn't even want to do it really.
No, but that's what made Colin funny.
Yeah. And we'll talk about Conan in a minute too, because he comes up a bit. But when Norm was on SNL, he was one of my favorites. But I never watched him live. I was 3 years old when he was on.
All right, we get it.
At the time, at least by my standard, I don't know if people that watched live in '95 would say like, "Oh, Norm was hysterical. The audience just didn't get him." But a lot of times you hear the audience not necessarily get him.
Yeah, well, he was. A lot of his humor is so subtle.
Completely,
and that was like
his
one
humor
of his
is
things.
not built for an SNL parody.
Like he's even not afraid to be subtle.
Yeah, subtle in the sense that like the audience might not even know the reference. Like there's clips of him making Vince Foster jokes, which is like a big conspiracy theory. But I don't know if your average NBC viewer is aware that the Clintons might have had someone murdered, which is a great The View clip, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to watch that.
Norm was also like a right winger.
Norm was a right winger, but I think more than that, Norm was one of the biggest advocates of truth that you've ever had in comedy. Yeah. Where when he saw something, like his biggest targets were the Clintons, Michael Jackson, people like where he felt a real wrong was done, and the best example of that is his jokes about OJ. So here's some of those. I think you said the first clips were, and this is an example of maybe Norm. This might have been, I suspect, when Norm was told not to joke about OJ. Yeah. Because the premise does not necessarily suit itself for an OJ joke, if you take a listen.
Absolutely.
And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That OJ is Guilty. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course OJ Did It. I mean, come on.
So right there are two jokes about the Pope and Prince Charles, and OJ managed to, Norman managed to make them about OJ, which suggests to me this might be after they said, hey, could you relax with the OJ jokes?
You would think, though, that they would pick up on the graphics he has ready.
Absolutely.
So if you don't know, which it's hard not to because everyone brought this up when Norm died, that OJ was, why do I keep doing that? That Norm was fired. OJ was a good Weekend Update host too. But Norm was fired from Weekend Update because of the amount of OJ jokes he made and the fact that Don Ohlmeyer, the guy that ran NBC at the time, was buddies with OJ. Because remember, OJ was an NBC analyst. Right. Like when he would do interviews, he was talking about the fact that right before the murders, he was still under contract with Hertz Rent-A-Car and NBC. So that was OJ's home. He would golf with Don Ohlmeyer, and I guess Don Ohlmeyer did not love all the OJ jokes. So
he didn't like the heat, you say?
He didn't like the OJ jokes. So this is what Norm, as a dutiful employee, did when he found that out.
It was revealed this week that defense lawyer Johnny Cochran once abused his first wife. In his defense, Cochran said, "Hey, at least I didn't kill her like some people I
know." might be my favorite one. We have a couple more though.
There's no better delivery on the planet. I know.
It would be nice if there's 35 minutes of Norm OJ jokes on YouTube if you want to go check it out.
Great.
Was O.J. Simpson high on speed the night of the murders? Absolutely not, said defense attorney Johnny Cochran today. And a simple test of any of O.J.'s blood found at the crime scene will prove it.
He's the best.
And O.J. pal Al Cowling said this week that in looking for the truth in the O.J. Simpson case, he sometimes talks to a picture of Nicole Brown Simpson, something that in the past would have gotten him killed by O.J. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, hey, you're O.J. Simpson.
Again, that's about a minute and a half or 2 minutes of OJ jokes. There's a 35-minute compilation of them on YouTube.
I'm imagining these were spread out over different nights.
It'd be great if it wasn't, but yeah, obviously.
How hilarious it would be if they were all in a row.
Just one night. Yeah.
Half of SNL is Norm OJ jokes.
He's just like...
Well, so that's this may not be if you measure IQ in rooms around the world. I don't know that we would be the highest, but we laugh hysterically at that. So the idea the idea that there's people out there that didn't get Norm is baffling to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like when you listen to that shit, it's like there's people that didn't get this guy. But again, he would be maybe if I was around in 1995, I probably wouldn't know who Vince Foster was, or someone like that. So I get at times. He would get a little deep for people, but it's like the fact that that guy was not more mainstream is maybe the most frustrating thing about him. But like I said, when he died, I think that's how it was perfect for him. Like he loved the way on the fringes.
Absolutely.
You got one more really good OJ one.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorites. When the week the verdict. So mind you, So this was obviously the trial of the century, the biggest story out there this spanned years, the OJ trial, and it was a drama. It spawned court TV. People would follow it every single day, and then the verdict comes down, and that week they turned to SNL and Weekend Update for their reaction to the OJ Simpson verdict.
Thanks, I'm Norm MacDonald, and now the fake news. Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California.
He's the best.
So that is the brilliance of Norm MacDonald. Now,
I like the photo they picked of OJ, though, personally.
So the confusing part to me is everyone thought OJ was guilty. That's a pretty common. Norm was not an outlier in 1995, 96. It was complete. And I'll preface it by saying Norm lasted a year or two after the verdict on Weekend Update, and would keep, like, there are jokes all the way through the civil suit, and maybe even past that Norm was making. So he did test the boundaries of OJ
beyond.
jokes and got away with it for a while. So, I guess maybe you could say the defense of NBC would be when you poke the bear that many times, they have to do something. But it's hilarious to me, the idea that there's some executive like, don't make fun of this guy that probably murdered 2 people. You know what I mean? Like, the idea of poking the bear was saying a man who most likely... Oh, like the great jokes that Norm would do after the trial were like about why isn't... Like, OJ said he would tirelessly look for the killer, and then he'd show a picture of OJ on the golf course. So...
Now he's afraid to go back.
Yeah. So where are we now in the timeline, Matt?
So on Letterman, when basically he
So he goes on Letterman, but look at the balls of this, where and it comes up during their discussion, but I'll let Norm explain. So Norm is taken off of Weekend Update and goes on Letterman that night. In the morning, it hits the newspapers. At night, you can turn on Letterman and see Norm MacDonald.
The competing network.
Yes, that's CBS.
You don't mind if I ask you a question?
What's that?
I hear this story, and there's like this press release, you get your ass fired. Is that true? No, you didn't get fired.
They fired me.
No, they didn't fire you.
No, I'm serious. I talked to a guy that said I'm fired.
Fired from your television job?
From on the Weekend Up. I do the news segment.
Yeah, the Weekend Update.
Yeah, and I do the jokes.
Sometimes, many times, the best part of the show.
Yeah. But it's all a matter of opinion. That's your opinion.
It's my opinion, yeah.
But then the guys that can fire me, that's not their opinion.
And why would they fire you?
Well,
who fired you, first of all? Let's get some names here. Let's get this on the record.
Well, I don't know the guys, because the guys I work with, like Lorne Michaels and stuff.
Did Lorne Michaels fire you?
No, he didn't. He didn't fire me.
Right.
He likes me and stuff.
Well, it's his show, isn't it?
I thought it was his show, yeah. But,
well, then how can a guy come in from the outside and fire you? Somebody from ABC fired you?
No. They're NBC. What happens is, you work on the show, and then there's these guys that hang out, like, in the halls.
Yeah, we got them here. We got them here.
And they're called executives. They're NBC executives, right? And then I'd see them. I didn't know who the hell they were, what they did, Now I know what they do. They fire me from Weekend Update. But they said that this guy, Don Ohlmeyer, who turns out to be the president.
Yeah, now I know Don Ohlmeyer, and just between you and me, he's an idiot.
Oh.
And Norm's response to that is, no, he's a good man.
Well, wait, did Don Ohlmeyer not give him the Tonight Show job?
Not technically, no. I think Don Ohlmeyer worked for the company.
All right.
But
so
the
he wasn't
guy,
the president at the time.
I believe Warren Littlefield, I think is the guy's name. I actually just watched the movie The Late Shift, so that's why I know that. But I'm pretty sure it was Warren Littlefield that didn't give him the Tonight Show job and fucked that whole thing up.
All right, because I was thinking, that's like a 2-layer joke.
Well,
that would be great.
Well, I'm sure Letterman knew him. Oh, yeah. I'm sure Letterman knew him. But it's also, again, the balls of Norm to not just go to a competing network, to go to another guy that NBC fucked over in dramatic fashion to tell that story.
Awesome.
Norm is hilarious. And Letterman brought up a point that I find very interesting, and I brought this up a lot when Shane Gillis got fired from SNL. Shane Gillis has made it known since that Lorne Michaels liked Shane and wanted to keep... he gave the guy the fucking job.
Yeah.
Same with Lorne Michaels saw the brilliance of Norm and didn't do anything about their firings. And my question about Lorne Michaels would be, if he can't step in for those guys, who can he step in for? You know what I mean? Like those
Probably
are the
nobody.
Those are the two.
Edie Bryant.
I can't think of another in the last 20 years of SNL. I can't think of a controversy in which someone was getting fired and Lorne stepped in and saved them.
Is Lorne an executive though?
I mean,
I don't think he is.
I think he's the king of NBC.
He's the showrunner at SNL.
He produced he essentially owns their late night content.
Sure.
Late night, now the Tonight Show, it wasn't the case at the time, but
does he run the Tonight Show too?
Conan Show, now he does, yeah.
Oh, no shit. So he's got more power now than he did back then.
Conan Show, SNL, but it's more than that, where Lorne's one of the most powerful guys in Hollywood.
Maybe Lorne Michaels is a pussy.
That's what I'm saying. Now you're on my side.
I'm glad you got right up on the mic for that.
Now you're on my side of the street here. That's what I'm saying.
I did it on purpose.
Is if Lorne Michaels can't defend those two guys, who has he defended? Like, who has he stepped in for?
Nobody, apparently.
Who has he used that power for? I don't think anybody.
He used his power for Lorne Michaels.
So I'm glad Letterman picked up on that.
That's awesome.
What's the next one, Matt?
This is Norm on Letterman talking about when he spoke to Don Ohlmeyer.
Okay, yeah. So this is his interaction with Don Ohlmeyer, and this is another one that speaks to Norm's charm, because I'm certain he's madder than anybody about this, but he doesn't really show it.
And then, so he goes, oh, yeah, I'm firing you there from the show. And then I said, oh, that's not good. And then I said, why is that now? And he goes, oh, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, Lord, that's even worse news, He goes, no, I don't got nothing to fall back on. No. He's a good man.
Well, he just fired you. What do you mean he's a good? What is wrong with you? You quisling? Stop that.
I don't know what quisling means, but...
Norm was and the two guys that supported Norm through this were obviously Letterman and Stern back in the day. Norm would go on those two shows and basically tell NBC to go fuck themselves, and that's the only voice and platform he had.
By proxy.
Yeah, and I mean Stern has become what he's become, but Letterman is the one guy that you can really say saw and understood what Norm was. Mm-hmm. Letterman advocated for Norm to replace him. He wanted Norm to have Craig Ferguson's job, The Late Late Show, and he obviously gave Norm. Well, not gave. He executive produced Norm's talk show that was on one season for Netflix.
The Norm Show or Norm?
No. Norm MacDonald has a show on Netflix. Yeah, not the sitcom.
Right.
So yeah, Letterman is the one guy and it's poetic in a way that Letterman was the guy that let him just have a voice during this. And there's a few, I don't know if I pulled any of the clips or not, but there's a few times where Letterman points out like, come here, come to CBS and get a show. So where are we now?
The next few are the same. They're all Letterman clips. So the next one is talking about Norm staying on the SNL cast but being fired.
So this is the most fascinating part, is we're talking about Norm's firing. He's on a competing network, shitting on the company, and letting Letterman take shots at them. And then we find out halfway through this interview that he was not fired by NBC. He was taken off of Weekend Update. So the fucking balls of this guy. No, go ahead.
If Mr. Big Shot Cologne and Cufflinks, Don Ohlmeyer, if he says, we don't want you on the Weekend Update, adios. I'd get in a cab. Absolutely. Hit the dirt. Come on over here to CBS. We'll get you a nice show. We'll put you together. A nice show for you.
What? Letterman was Norm's biggest fan, wasn't he?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
You're no quisling.
I've never been called that.
Well, now, will you stay on the rest of the show?
Yeah, I'm going to stay. I do also, other than doing an update, I do sketches, but I stink in those. So, he thinks I'm funny in those.
Yeah. Oh, it's just the Weekend Update he doesn't think you're funny.
Yeah, he doesn't think I'm funny in Weekend Update, and God only knows. I mean, it's just a matter of opinion. He also thinks that O.J. is innocent.
A fucking set of brass balls on this guy. Whereas now, most people, and I'm certain I'm one of them if I was ever in this position, but people would be thinking of, how do I save this job? How do I, secure myself so that I'm not completely out of a job? How do I stay on the cast or get Weekend Update back or whatever? Norm is like, go fuck yourself. Because I think in a way he knew it was funnier to get fired from SNL for making fun of someone that everyone is certain is a murderer. What's up next? Most of these, by the way, are Letterman clips because that's where a lot of this played out. Like I said, a lot of it was on Stern too. But since that was in a longer form, I figured it was more succinct to go the route of Letterman.
I got Letterman was right next, or you could do parting gifts, or still getting paid.
Let's go with.
Do them in order.
Let's go with. Yeah, do them in order, I suppose.
Well,
no. Wait a second. You know what? Still gets paid. I'm trying to think. Dude still gets paid first.
That's just so you have no say in what we do.
I know, right? That was just a power move.
Yeah, just so you know.
No, the thing was, I said, okay, so you think I'm not funny? That's fine, who cares? But I said, why don't we I'll quit and leave the show, right? You keep your money, because you don't want to pay money to a guy that's not funny.
Exactly.
And then I'll go try to be funny somewhere else.
Perfect point.
And then he didn't like that idea.
Why not?
I don't know, because it seems to me that because there's other networks. There's CBS.
Well, other networks, sure.
Yeah. So my contention was, I thought he would love that idea, because what better for his network than to have an unfunny guy on another network?
Exactly, that's right. He can't have it both ways.
He can have it both ways, apparently. He's a Quisling?
Yes. No. But at least there are no Quislings in the picture now. When you were here before, I smelled a Quisling. The Quislings are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Good for you.
And so the way it stands now is I can leave the show as long as I don't do anything else on any competing show.
Right. Well, that stinks. That's no good. Now, how long will that last?
As he's doing it.
I don't know, man. It's as long as
Contractually, how long are you bound to them?
I'd like to be Norm's
I'm bound
agent.
to them contractually. It's all stuff that I'm not that familiar with.
But in the meantime, they are continuing to pay you, right?
Yeah, they pay me, and I go to the show and hang out.
Yeah.
So the brilliance of Norm again. I know I'm going to keep saying that, but like Craig said, as he's doing another show. But the point Norm was obviously making was like, you can't go do the Norm show on ABC or whatever. Right. But they could tell him you can't do. They could tell him you can't do Letterman. They could say, hey, you're not allowed to do Letterman. Then when he goes and does it, what they would have to do is fire him.
Right.
So Norm knows that, well, if they fire me, then I can go to ABC and do a show. Yep. So Don Ohlmeyer and NBC are in a pickle because they're like, do we fire this guy who's shitting on us on CBS and let him go to CBS, or do we keep him here to make him miserable? And that was the brilliance of Norm, is kind of picking up on that and challenging them in a way. So play the next one. Now go in order. Go in reverse order.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig.
Well, how has it been since then?
Well, it's been weird, it's been weird.
You were just fired, as it turned out, right?
Yeah, I got fired. Right. And then when I was talking to you on the show that day, because this guy, Don Ohlmeyer, fired me, and I didn't know the guy, and you kept saying, like, he's an idiot, he's a pinhead, and stuff like that. And I would say, like, he's a good guy, you know? And turns out you were right.
Oh, man, good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'll admit when I'm wrong.
I've never been happier to be right about something in my life.
Yeah. So, because I went and met with him, I never...
Now, wait a minute. After you get fired, you then have to go to a meeting with the guy?
Yeah, because I wanted to leave the show entirely. I thought that would be the next thing.
Right.
And so, and then, I talked to all these guys I pay money to, and I go, hey, how about you guys figure out something there,
So that's what. Then he talks about how he was stuck at NBC because he was under contract. And then this, I believe, is the parting gifts where he describes how he was kind of treated on his way out in his meeting with Don Ohlmeyer.
I go in there, and that guy, Don Ohlmeyer's there, so I go, how you doing?
That guy, Don Ohlmeyer.
Well, how was that? Was it cordial? Was it a bit icy?
No, it was cordial. He gave me a lighter.
Like for being, like, it's what, a parting gift? Well, he's giving you what?
He had a lighter, and he goes, hey, you want a lighter?
A lighter.
And then he gave me an umbrella. I don't know, it was like a...
You get fired and you get stuff. Yeah. Like, yeah, how about a clock radio? How about a lighter?
Anything on the top shelf, I could have.
So I just threw that in there because I felt it was kind of like a classic. What I'm guessing happened is Norm commented on something in the office, like, that's a nice lighter. And he's like, good for you. Have it. Take it. Which is one of this pompous assholes, which we'll hear from Don Ohlmeyer in a bit. But the way a lot of these executives work is like, hey, I'm your buddy. You know, I'm your friend. We're just a couple of equals chatting. Now, we'd like you to pack your shit and get out of here. You know, so it's this phony way that a lot of executives speak where they want to be the good guy, but they're also taking a genius off of a show because they annoyed him.
Yeah.
So
making fun of his buddy.
Right, yeah, his buddy the murderer. Which, by the way, I do have to say, remember that we talked about that? Like, remember that Don Ohlmeyer is good friends with OJ, because I think the Don Ohlmeyer clip is infuriating if you have that fact in mind. But what's next, Matt?
Norm has flipped.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll just preface this. So what this is like you saw there that Norm was being like very charming, and even when he said Letterman was right about Don Ohlmeyer, he wasn't mean-spirited. And this is where things took a turn.
It was so funny though. He's like, "You said that he was a pinhead." And
you said.
I said he was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
What's that? What do you got there?
A little article about you and a little feud with another network.
Oh, yeah,
ABC.
yeah. There's this character over on the NBC. He's the president, and he hates me.
They're promoting dirty work, though.
You know what?
And why?
He doesn't think I'm funny.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing if you're not funny.
No, yeah, I am funny.
Yeah.
He's very funny. I think he just doesn't know you. He's a jackass.
So they're out promoting dirty work, and that's when Norm gets angry. And in that clip, you're like, what turned him? But I think we're about to find out in the next clip, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
All right.
All right.
What is the problem? I don't know. In the paper today, there, you got the TV Post, right?
Right here.
There it is.
This is today's New York Post. Take a look at that.
There's a picture of me with a big X through my head.
Now, what the hell is that all about? NBC Dirty Work next is Norm. What exactly are we talking about there?
Yeah, that's Don Ohlmeyer has decided not to run
This is Don Ohlmeyer right here. This is the guy who runs NBC.
Yeah.
Don Ohlmeyer right there. Hi, girls, would you mind coming up to the suite to audition? That's Don right there. There you go. Oh, sure, Don always gets a suite.
Boy, pause for a
Don has
second.
decided not to.
Whatever that is, so I don't know anything about Don Ohlmeyer. I'm assuming Letterman does know a little bit more than me.
I would say so.
That is a conversation that in 1998 would be happening with laughter, and now it would be the end of Don Ohlmeyer's career. Whatever that means, I assume it's not good.
It would probably be the end of Letterman's career just for mentioning it and not calling the authorities.
Well, Letterman has his own demons with
true.
interns and whatnot. But,
True.
But yeah, keep going.
Oh,
run any ads for my movie on his network,
Now,
NBC.
what is the deal? What is it? What is...
Yeah, so so NBC refused to run ads for Dirty Work, which obviously would have helped the movie a lot. Let's just think of if anyone liked Norm on Weekend Update, the value of running an ad during Weekend Update.
Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, during Saturday Night Live in general. That would be huge for Dirty Work, you would think. And you know, in a lot of these circumstances, you could say like, well, NBC actually loses and Norm wins in that scenario because they're giving him promotion. Now people are talking about Dirty Work, but as we know now, Dirty Work was a cult classic. But still, even now, unless you're talking about the career of Norm, Artie, or Bob Saget, who directed the movie, or maybe Rickles in his appearance, unless you're talking about one of those guys, Dirty Work never comes up as a classic comedy.
Or the first appearance of Adam Sandler playing the devil.
That's true. Who could forget that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So despite all those things and it being hilarious, like when Norm passed, one of the things I watched was the prostitute scene.
Oh yeah.
Where he fucks the car salesman over by putting prostitutes in his. Oh, you got a
David
dead
Koechner.
Prostitute in your trunk.
David Koechner.
Yes. Yeah. David Koechner. A lot of good. Chevy Chase was in that movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people for the lack of money it made.
Jack. What the hell's the guy? The dad's name?
Oh, I know who
That
you're
guy
talking
is
about.
in
I don't know.
a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
The classic line. Mildred. Hey, Mildred. It's like, oh, I don't think you remember my name. It's Kathy. It's like, no, I didn't know what it was, so I guess.
So, Dirty Work was a very funny movie that made no money, and I mean, I don't think it was just because
Critically
NBC. It wasn't because NBC wouldn't run ads. Let's be honest, but that would have helped for sure, and because Norm was going out and, talking shit about Don Ohlmeyer. Don Ohlmeyer, again, being very petty, very weak, and saying, I want nothing to do with this guy. I'm going to fuck over his career because he's made jokes I don't like. And we have more evidence. Is the next clip Conan, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Conan.
So Conan talks about a thing that, not only was Norm not allowed to promote commercially, but Norm was one of the greatest. If this clip never happened, what Conan's about to talk about, then I think I would have mostly Conan clips in this, because Norm was one of the greatest Conan guests of probably not one of the greatest Conan guest of all time. Conan did a whole episode about it when Norm passed, and he talked about a lot of the great Norm moments. And even before I knew we were going to do this episode, this clip stood out to me because I had never heard this before. I didn't know this happened on Late Night with Conan O'Brien in around 1997.
This is the first clip we've watched that's not like 1983 or older.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at it, I was like, wow, this is really clean.
It's the first good quality.
Yeah, this is real clear.
Yeah, this is Conan recently talking about...
It says podcasts on the screen.
Yeah.
This is the mandate that Conan received from NBC.
We got the word came down, you can't book Norm MacDonald anymore. And it came from the top and from Don Ohlmeyer. And, Don Ohlmeyer was the one that, Lorne suggested me for Late Night. He gave me the job. And so I had a lot of, feelings of loyalty to Don Ohlmeyer because I wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for Don sticking with me. So I owe him that. So I wrote a letter to Don that said, I got this directive. You've hired me to do the best show I can do, and this is my best guest. And so I need to do what I need to do my job, which is the best show I can do. And I got the letter back, and written in the margins was just something. I don't remember the exact, but it was something like, I expected better from you, or something like that. It was basically me being told,
do as you're told.
Yeah, but or I'm really disappointed in your lack of loyalty or something. And I felt at the time that's not a lack of loyalty. That is loyalty.
And Conan's 100% right. That was him being completely loyal and completely professional. Where Conan, and I think the way a lot of people would have handled that is, there are two ways people would have handled it. Never said anything and done as they're told, which I assume Don Ohlmeyer would prefer. And then the opposite of that would maybe be the more common way in some, especially with like comedians or whatever, where you storm into Ohlmeyer's office and say, "What? You're a fucking moron. What are you doing?" And you tank your career, But Conan handled it in the most professional way possible, and said, "I have a lot of loyalty to you, so I'm asking you, can I please have Norm on my show?" And this cunt can't just say either, "Hey, I'll give you this, Conan," or "I just can't do it. My pride is getting in the way and I just can't do it." Instead, Don Ohlmeyer insists that he's right, and that's what a lot of these shitheads in executive positions do in entertainment, which is why you have the pushback like we talk about with Norman Lear, and we'll talk about, I'm sure, with a lot of these guys, where the executives who are not creative or not funny, but want so badly, they can never trust Conan or Norm or whoever, Lorne Michaels, and say, these guys are in entertainment, I'm going to trust them. Instead, their ego gets in the way, and they also want to be fun. They think they're funny.
The more I hear Don Ohlmeyer's name, the more angry I
It is an infuriating name, but Don Ohlmeyer.
It's not a pleasure.
Even the way it's spelled is annoyed. Meyer.
It is gross.
So next we have Don Ohlmeyer, right?
Well, I also have the clip that Norm reflects on it.
I want to play that after.
Okay.
I want to play Don Ohlmeyer first because I think it'll show you kind of the contrast in how these guys think of this situation years later. So this is Don Ohlmeyer on with Rich Eisen.
Look at his
live?
Fucking hair.
Don Ohlmeyer?
Yeah.
This interview was only 3 or 4 years ago, so I'm assuming so, yeah.
He outlived Norm. That sucks.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Hold on one second, Matt. Because I just wanted to say, this is Don Ohlmeyer talking about, good for Rich Eisen, but for asking this. But I think in the first few seconds, you're going to hear the lack of understanding as to why this bothered people so much from Don Ohlmeyer.
The 40th anniversary of SNL just went down.
Yep.
Norm MacDonald returned to a show that you once showed the door for him. What was the story behind that, Don Ohlmeyer?
Well,
Stop saying his name.
I find it fascinating. You make thousands of decisions, and one of them haunts you for the rest of your life.
So you would say that haunts
with Norm MacDonald fans.
With Norm MacDonald fans.
Well, go back for a second.
Sorry.
Because my point was when he said one of them haunts you for the rest of your life, I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, so he regrets it. And then immediately he says, with these idiot Norm MacDonald fans. Like, so he went from me thinking, oh, he completely understands and thinks he fucked up, to like, I don't know why these people keep bitching about it. Like, what are they, Norm fans? So he still thinks he was right, but there's more. There's more. And you know what? The rest of this, I think his attitude and shit bothers me, but I do believe there's a grain of truth in what he's saying.
One of them haunts you for the rest of your life.
So you would say that haunts
with Norm MacDonald fans, it haunts me.
Yeah, with Norm MacDonald fans, it haunts you.
No, look, I think Norm was a very talented guy, terrifically versatile comedian, and he was doing the Weekend Update. And I started getting concerned because in looking at the ratings, you can see, we have minute-by-minute ratings.
Bullshit.
And for the first time in the history of the show, during Weekend Update, people were tuning out. Weekend Update was like that thing that kept people tuned.
What was an institution
after
part?
midnight.
An institution part of an institution.
Some weeks, Saturday Night Live would be on fire the first half hour, and Weekend Update would keep it going. And some weeks, Saturday Night Live might be a little weaker, but people would stay tuned because Weekend Update was something they looked forward to. And I was concerned that the ratings were dropping off, and it didn't seem like Norm and the subject matter was clicking as it had in the past.
So was Lorne Michaels sharing that same belief as well at the time? Or?
Well, Norm and Lorne and I had talked about it a lot, and I finally felt we needed to make a change. And, Lorne thought, well, maybe we should wait until the end of the year. And I thought, no, I think we should, you got to, my only reason for doing it was I thought you needed to do it to protect the show. Now, was I right? Was I wrong? You make decisions. Some are right, some are wrong. But it's certainly one that for the SNL fans and the Norm MacDonald fans, I'm constantly queried about.
So
the SNL fans.
So the part I understand from Don Ohlmeyer's perspective is it's his job. So if people aren't watching, and again, we talked about people don't really get, a lot of people didn't get Norm for whatever reason. So if people are tuning out during Weekend Update, and you hate the guy, then it becomes very easy for a businessman to say, well, you're hurting my revenue.
Right.
Now, that's where I blame Lorne Michaels a lot more, because even in that explanation, Don Ohlmeyer seemed like it was a half-assed attempt by Lorne Michaels to keep Norm MacDonald around. Maybe let's wait till the end of the season? Like, what the fuck is that? And Don Ohlmeyer's account could be wrong, for all we know. But it's Lorne's job to say, hey, the executive, these are bean counters. These are guys that say the ratings are this, so we should make this decision, where it's Lorne Michaels' job to be like, no, this guy's funny. And over time, this will pay off for us.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's tough to completely...
I'm
no, go ahead.
mad.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Fucking mad at this fucking asshole.
Well, I look at it this way. If Norm never got fired off SNL, who knows how different his career would be, and we wouldn't have this kind of thing.
I agree.
Like, listen to the 50 clips we played of Norm where he's fucking hilarious bashing Don Ohlmeyer. We wouldn't have that. This kind of gave Norm, this was his first, sort of being, in a weird way, it's weird when you hear Norm speak and what he speaks about and just his whole aura that he's like kind of a bad boy of comedy. Like when you hear a guy with that voice, who's like seems like kind of a wholesome Canadian guy.
Canadian, yeah.
And he's like one of the badasses in comedy.
Yeah.
He was deeply closeted.
Deeply closeted gay man. But Don Ohlmeyer not really showing a shred of regret. This is Norm's perspective on it 15-ish years later on Opie and Anthony with Colin Quinn and Jim Norton.
That's right.
Heard this.
You didn't have any animosity towards Colin.
Not
after
towards
that.
Colin. No, I love Colin.
Now, I heard you were taken off of that show because of the OJ situation.
Who knows? I don't think it was really.
You don't think that was it?
No, I don't really think it was.
Because you
that.
gave OJ a little guff, and most people were just treating him like a saint.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know people said that and shit. But I think I think it was is because I didn't get laughs all the time and shit. And like Ohlmeyer was watching Leno, who would get laughs wall to wall every fucking night.
Yeah, but that isn't what it was about.
I know, but I can understand his point.
So that's, I mean, like I was saying,
a little bit.
where Norm's like, what are you going to do? Years later, where Don Ohlmeyer's sticking to his guns.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between those two types of guys.
Nice guy and a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, and I don't think Norm really had, I mean, obviously he had some sort of an ego. He's an entertainer.
Right.
But I don't think he had the type of ego that a lot of celebrities do. And it was funny, he was talking to Colin Quinn on there, where they lived in the same building.
Yeah.
And Norm goes, tell him about that moment in the elevator. And Colin goes, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And Norm goes, it was poignant for me. But they had like a passing of the torch. But Colin didn't want to take Weekend Update because he was friends with Norm.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he really wanted to do it. Like he didn't think it was his style necessarily, but then replacing Norm was left a bad taste in his mouth, sort of. But obviously he did. And people forget Colin Quinn was very underrated on Weekend Update too. No one thinks of him.
I loved Colin Quinn.
Well, Colin Quinn fans do.
Norm,
but the average
Dennis
person.
Miller, Colin.
Yeah.
So that might.
I agree.
I never saw Chevy Chase. I heard he was the greatest, but I don't really know. I didn't watch it, in the 70s. I haven't gone back and watched that.
I mean, Craig Kilborn. No.
Well, sure, yes. Of course, Jimmy Fallon was great. What's next, Matt?
Norm's monologue.
Okay, so this is I guess how we finish. Do we even talk after this? I say we get it all out now. Our thoughts, and when we end on this.
This was my first exposure to Norm MacDonald ever. I was in 8th grade.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe the first time I heard about this was like, I think Bill Burr and Doug Stanhope were telling this story somewhere,
really?
where I was like, boy, that sounds hilarious. I have to go back and listen. So Dirty Work comes out. Yep. It was not a hit, as we said, but Norm starred and wrote a movie, which built up his notoriety a little bit. Mm-hmm. Then he was in The Norm Show, which I think just became Norm. I think they dropped the show.
They dropped the.
Yeah. And that was on ABC at the time. And then to promote The Norm Show, SNL's ratings were not doing great. I guess that was one of the worst. It's before Will Ferrell really popped, I guess.
Well, it was between Farley and Ferrell.
Yeah, Which doesn't, I don't know, can it be? Because Trebek and Norm were in those Jeopardy sketches.
Oh, yeah.
So how does that work?
You're absolutely right.
But for whatever reason,
that work?
They hit a lull at some point where ratings were not great. And so a year and a half after Norm's firing, they asked him to come back and host SNL in one of the greatest acts of revenge ever. And I will note, so what you're about to hear is the monologue, and Norm's original plan was to do this and then leave the building. Which would have been absolutely epic, but more to Norm's character as a guy, he knew people in the cast and the writers' room still, and he knew that would completely fuck them over.
He would have never got work.
That at the last minute, and probably selfishly, he knew that would fuck my career up too. Even though this would fuck up his career to some extent, I'm sure.
I'm actually surprised with how short this was.
Yeah.
Meaning what? The monologue itself?
Only 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long.
Yeah, and he probably knew he had to do it and get the fuck out of there, you know?
That's true.
So here's Norm's SNL monologue, the greatest monologue in Saturday Night Live history, in my opinion.
Without question.
Oh, and take a look. Goodbye.
What's that? Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is my name. When the people here asked me to do the show, I gotta say, I felt kind of weird. I don't know if you remember this, but I used to actually be on this show. I used to do the Weekend Update news routine. You remember that? And that's where I did the make-believe news jokes. That was me, right? So then, a year and a half ago, right, I had a sort of a disagreement with the management at the NBC. I wanted to keep my job, right? And they felt the exact opposite. So you see, they fired me because they said that I wasn't funny, you know? Now, with most jobs, I could have had a hell of a lawsuit on my hands for that, but see, this is a comedy show. So they got me, you know what? But now, this is the weird part, right? It's only a year and a half later, and now they asked me to host the show. So I wondered, I go, hey, wait a second here. Hey! I go, how did I go in a year and a half from being not funny enough to be even allowed in the building to being so funny that I'm now hosting the show? How did I suddenly get so damn funny? It was inexplicable to me, because a year and a half, let's face it, is not enough time for a dude to learn how to be funny. Then it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later. But okay, so let's recap. The bad news is I'm still not funny. The good news is the show blows. All right, folks, we got a bad show for you tonight. Dr. Dre, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Eminem are here.